introduction?
I'll introduce it.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Was an ordinance of the Borough of Edgewater, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 71 of the Code of the Borough of Edgewater entitled Officers and Employees, Article 9, to create the position of Police Communications Clerk, formerly known as dispatch, was introduced on June 16, 2014, and passes its first reading and will be considered for final passage and public hearing on July 14, 2014, at 7 o'clock p.m. here in this municipal building. Councilman Henry.
Yes.
Councilman Doran.
Yes.
Councilman Monty.
Yes.
Councilman Vidal.
Yes.
Councilman Bartholomew.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have ordinance number 1509, 2014, an ordinance of the Borough of Edgewater, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 240 of the Code of the Borough of Edgewater to revise certain regulations pertaining to parking and curb cuts. We have discussed this previously. It's in regard to the new duplexes being built. The purpose of the ordinance is to hopefully maintain some parking spaces for residents on Undercliff or whatever streets, and try to save some spots out on the street. Do we have any discussion?
I'd like to go into discussion on this. I'd like for us to take another look at this by, perhaps consulting with our borough engineer as well as far as the impact it's going to make on on-street parking and as well as usage of driveways. I have a completely different perspective on this, and I know, Kevin, you're a big endorser of this ordinance, and I'm not trying to put the kibosh on it, but I'd like to take a closer look at this, if you don't mind. And if we could table this perhaps and maybe discuss it in further detail at our next work session, perhaps even have a borough engineer there, I would appreciate it if the council would consider that.
Let me ask a question. Is it possible to also, if we do table it for 30 days, to ask is it fair to ask the corresponding board to table theirs? Because let's not let it slip away in case we want to do something for developments that are on the drawing board that are about to be approved. If this ordinance would affect it. If we're going to freeze for 30 days, and maybe they should freeze for 30 days.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fair, or I can send an email. If that doesn't sound like
They're regulated under the municipal land use
so it is
law,
moving forward.
and they have time periods in which, help me work out, but I don't think we can tell them not to proceed with a valid filing.
They have plans in place.
Well, with that said, then I'd be willing to go along with a month, but I mean, but then we got to move on.
Yeah, with some type of a definitive study.
Like a month, next week.
Absolutely.
Have her come in, we don't have a work session now, so it's the next regular meeting is when we have
Can
a
we
chance to
have
talk
the
to council
engineer prepare something to look at?
in advance of the,
Clearly, they get it to us, look at it, so we're prepared and then next time.
We can discuss it too with the general public in our next meeting.
That's fine.
yeah,
And, I mean, the reason why I walk with my kids every day, and I go from pretty much 7 blocks down to Palisades Avenue. And there's certain areas, certain homes that literally took 50 feet of apartments gone. And they'll have 3 houses in a row. All I'm saying is, we have lifelong residents in town that have spoken to me constantly. When I first got on, what are we gonna do about parking? It seems like this is gonna be a big issue, and it's getting bigger and bigger, obviously. So, I personally park in my driveway, I have my wife park behind me. I get up in the morning, I move cars around. I'm neighborly to my neighbors, I try to be not, I keep all my cars, but there's lifelong residents that don't have that opportunity, that can't park all the cars in the driveway, and we're gonna be losing across, and again, it doesn't affect me, I don't mind, but for the residents that are around me, there's potentially, I counted, 9 spots. There will be no parking on the west side. Now, this should also bring in the fact that we could possibly move it to the west, but I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but for a developer to say, I need 50 feet to have parking and not have 1 spot for some of the residents that were in town for 50, 75 years and have 1 spot available, I think we can work around it. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this has to be built this way, this house. But you can clearly see even between the two homes where you could have a spot. And I think with the parking, it's only gonna get worse. And I think we should just look into it. That's all. Again, if it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. But it's something we got to look at. Because parking is gonna get worse and worse.
Will Catherine also look at the same time at the top of, on the cliff going out to Route 5? Because I think that would be a beautiful design, 11 spots with a little stone wall with the park with the benches above it. And resident parking only, and that's a home run. You know, and I think even when I talked to someone who's very vocal about that's the only park left, well, there's one across the street, there's one across the street from there. But when I talked about the design that you guys were talking about, I'm not involved in it, it sounds like a home run, so maybe we fold that into it.
That's a good idea.
To kind of get a whole package of, this is what we're looking to do for us, a total solution.
I have to say,
Yeah, I go past that park all the time, and it's not that you're saying you're taking anybody out of that park. There's never anybody in the park. And to preserve half of it, like you said, there's another level and a couple of benches. And if it's gonna address such an important issue of parking on our block, then clearly, give up half of it, and it's like, we're not throwing anyone out of that park, there's never anyone there.
Maybe be more close to a third. It's just the front 11s and then back 2/3.
You can still keep something, some benches and some green, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. And we're looking to table this for tonight, right? So do I have a motion to table?
I make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilman Henwood?
With an immediate report from Catherine, not to delay more than 30 days or at most, I'll vote yes. I mean, I don't want to give the time. Yes.
There's no discussion on motion table, I'm sorry. Councilman Doran?
no.
No. Councilman Monty?
Yes.
Councilman Bedell?
Yes.
And Councilman Bartolome?
Yes.
Motion passes to table orders 1509.
Moving forward, we have ordinance number 15. 1510, 2014, an ordinance of the Borough of Edgewater, County of Bergen, New Jersey, amending ordinance number 1482, 2012 of the Borough, finally adopted on November 19, 2012, providing for various improvements in and for the Borough of Edgewater and appropriating $757,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $498,750 in bonds or notes of the Borough of Edgewater to finance the same. This ordinance is simply amending Section C of the ordinance number 1482 to include the paving of the Oxen Hill. We're able to do this because the anticipated cost of the Hilliard Avenue job, which was approximately $123,000, came in at $45,000 less than we had anticipated, and we are not adding to our current debt. So, do we have any discussion on ordinance number 1510, 2014?
Candy, who's our park is
We on the top 100 feet.
Do you have an intro?
So,
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
There's an ordinance of the Borough of Edgewater in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, amending ordinance 1482, 2012 of the Borough finally adopted on November 19, 2012, providing for various improvements in and for the Borough of Edgewater and appropriating $757,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $198,750 in bonds or notes of the Borough of Edgewater finance the same, was introduced on June 16, 2014, and passes its first reading and will be considered for final passage in public hearing on July 14, 2014, at 7 p.m. in the Edgewater Municipal Building. Councilman Henwood?
yes.
Councilman Doran?
Yes.
Councilman Monty?
Yes.
Councilman Bedell?
Yes.
Councilman Bartolome?
Yes.
Councilman Henwood, do you have a...
Yeah, just real quick, the DPW, Tommy will be closing the signs up for the school season in a week and a half on the cliff.